You may have heard of eNable. We use 3D printing to make hands and arms for kids, give them away for free.
Oh, cool.
Speaks out on it. He's terrified.
So you might remember Skip did a meeting a few years ago at the church.
For her life at the hospital.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, East High.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still have that laptop you sold me. It still works. It's just a little out of date. Doesn't take the updated operating systems, Bob.
Here we do, we do. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we should probably thinking about having you, Skip, do another meeting because things have probably advanced in a few years.
Yeah. Might be able to do something. I'm pretty much not involved in the volunteer work since I moved down south with family. Mostly volunteering to help my grandchildren.
Yep.
Build bookcases and stuff like that.
Where did you move to?
Gainesville, Georgia, right by Lake Lanier.
Oh. Not too far south, but south enough, right?
Yeah. It's pretty hot here.
It's nice to see Skip once again.
Yeah, let's see if I can get your name to show up.
Yeah, sure. And then I'll look at it and see if I know Charlie Bergener.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be full of questions and comments and crap tonight. I just went to the CIDER homepage on both my laptop and my and an iPad, and it had the July information. So I tried refreshing, and then on the laptop I tried the shift refresh, and that didn't change. And I don't know how you would do a shift refresh on an iPad. So that's one interesting question.
Tap and hold, I think.
On the refresh, okay.
Yeah. It should come up if you clear your cache.
And if I clear my cache, what do I lose besides, that?
Websites you've been to recently will have to re-download instead of remembering it from the cache.
I chronically have lots of tabs open. If those tabs are still there, will they reload even if I clear cache?
Yeah. They'll re-download directly from the server rather than loading from local cache. Theoretically, if nothing has changed, local cache is faster, but something has always changed.
Right. All right, so now I'm looking at the iPad and the little round of circle arrow, and I'm tapping and holding.
Sometimes in a private window, it works better. That's weird.
So the homepage should say something about today's date for a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Not the picnic stuff. Yours okay there?
No, it's not. I just noticed. I'm checking the WordPress. Oh, WordPress got updated. 6.0.1. Did that mess up our dashboard?
All right, cool.
There is a link for the CIDER Zoom meeting.
Yeah, it's the same link every month, so that still works.
Right, that's how I got in here tonight. Right.
That's really weird. Let me make a change and see if I can get WordPress to push an update. Page has been updated. Now I'm getting it on my on the Mac. I'm still not getting it on the iMac. I wonder if that's why there's not many people here. Well, I sent the email out. Did everyone get the email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had trouble getting the Zoom info.
Where did you go?
Okay, kill that
Yeah.
Where, how do I kill it?
over there. Or go to this. I clicked on this.
That's weird. Let me try a different browser.
How did you get to this?
In my email. And normally there's a link,
Well, here, just
but it just gave me nothing.
go to Safari. Whoops, Safari.
Hi, Rick.
Right there. That's it.
Rick is muted. That's all right.
Yeah, it mutes you automatically when you start and join the chat. So you can unmute yourself.
Join the meeting, you mean?
Yeah.
And the thing I've noticed with Zoom is that it seems like it may go along with software updates, and it also, I'm sure, depends on the device I'm using. But not long ago, it was doing a thing where when I logged into when I joined a Zoom meeting, the mic was not muted, but the camera was off. So you just have to, every time you get into it, you have to look and see if all the parts are there.
The
Yep,
host
that's
can
true.
also set that too.
Right. Right.
That the participant's camera and mic is off when they join, and most of that is for like large meetings. Yeah, if you had hundreds of people, you don't want all that background chatter, so you mute everyone by default.
Right.
Hey, Steve,
Hi.
you know where I just got back from?
Not offhand. You weren't at my store because I didn't see you there, and I closed the doors.
The Steam Show.
Oh, nice. Is that going this weekend?
Yeah.
I flew at the Model Air Show was it last weekend? Weekend before. Behind the Steam Museum.
Uh-huh. Right. Well, that's where we were in the field because my stepson took his my grandson there.
Yep.
They were camping out with a couple other people, which they do every year. So we were just at the campsite, just hanging out.
Neat.
So can you hear me okay now, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
All
Hi, Carol.
So are you doing Q&A yet, Steve, or not?
No, we're just waiting for people to get here because there weren't that many here yet.
But the website link was for July. When I went to the website,
The link is the same.
oh, okay.
We
I
don't know
I didn't use
why
it because I thought it was last
it's
month.
still showing July.
Right. We're in a sort of Q&A, but the question is Steve's, and he's trying to answer himself.
Well, Carol was unsuccessful using the email she received getting in, so we went to the Safari, to the website and found it there.
Yeah, normally, I just click on, it said you have your choice of Zoom meeting or
Yeah.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I click on Zoom meeting, it takes me right in. That just
Now,
went blank.
I know that when I clicked on the Zoom link, the first thing it did was it downloaded an update to Zoom,
And then you got to.
and then I had to go to the link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get that.
If you
So maybe
haven't-
it was trying to update and
Oh, maybe.
couldn't or
But
something.
thanks to Bob, I got it. I got here, so I'm fine.
I'm thinking that I always use the link on the CIDER homepage to the point where I wasn't even aware that there was a link in the email Steve sends out, but I wonder whether can email, and that's why we don't have a whole lot of people here.
Carol did.
Yeah, that could be the reason.
Well, the email
Is it-
works. I just did it from the email, so I'm in
twice
now.
now.
Mute.
Huh.
But what happens if there's a Zoom update waiting? It updates Zoom and then sits there.
Yeah,
It
and you
doesn't
have to go
remember that
back.
you clicked the link. You have to go back and click the link again.
Okay.
I sort of do OCD updates from Zoom after meetings that I attend, so maybe that's not a bad neurosis to have. Is that way maybe I don't get hit by that.
Yeah.
Steve, when you were in twice, you were in stereo.
Pardon?
So when you were in twice, I heard you in stereo.
Yeah. And you clicked the link. You have to go back and click the link again.
Okay.
So YouTube is working. I had a picture of Andy Anatko in my YouTube stream. How did that happen? It must have been an ad. Alright, so YouTube is working. The CIDER website is still showing last month's meeting information on my iMac, but on the laptop it shows this month's.
How bizarre.
Clear
Where's
the
Shirley
cache and
tonight?
use a different browser. She is on Seneca Lake. When she gets back, she may try to get in. She said the boat was supposed to dock at 6:30.
Oh,
And
Oh, what a
however long
beautiful-
they take to get back to the cabin they're using.
What a beautiful day to be on a lake. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget which one they were using, but probably Captain Bill in Watkins Glen. I don't know if they're driving all the way back to Attica tonight or not. I don't think so. None of them like driving after dark. She's with a couple of her friends. Well, we seem to have stabilized on our meeting. I suppose we can officially start. Actually, who's the vice president? They should officially start. Or past president. Not that it matters too much.
Okay, fantastic.
How dare you? Sir Augustine broke their back for you.
I think I'm a past use-by date president. But I was thinking either Kim Leslie or Ken would qualify as a president or a vice president at this point. And I can't get my act together here anyway, so I have over-prepared for a meeting.
I should turn my video on, shouldn't I? There we are.
Consequently, I'm losing track of what the heck I'm doing.
Did we ever know what we were doing?
I have occasional glimpses. I talked to George Engel last night about the possibility of joining us using the automated real-time transcript feature in the YouTube screen. And he wasn't really enthusiastic about it, but we kind of left it at, well, I know what I need to do. I need to do, I found my AirPod. It's in my ear. An excellent place to hide it, like glasses on top of your head. I'm trying to use it with...
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
You are not alone. I'm just trying to figure out why the MacBook now says that it's AirPods, but They're not connected. I wonder if they're connected to this iPad.
Put one of them on the Zoom audio and one of them on the YouTube audio, and the delay
No.
between them will drive you nuts.
Exactly. Crap. This over preparation was so that I usually try to follow the Facebook and YouTube
I forgot to turn
stream.
Facebook on. I better do that.
Why not?
To make sure the sound is on. And Rick point on another meeting. So tonight, trying to avoid feedback problems and the rest of it, I thought I had AirPods connected to my iPad and hardwired earbuds connected to the other way around. Never mind. Ah, crap.
I'm gonna go sit on my front porch. I wanted to sit on my patio. It's a nice day, but I can't get Wi-Fi there. If I sit on my front porch, the traffic might be noisy. Do you hear traffic going by? Is it annoying?
Not yet.
There's a
Don't
car.
hear anything.
There's a car.
Why isn't this?
They're on a car. Was it loud?
Nope, didn't hear it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna sit on my porch.
All right.
That's nice.
Great.
So are we officially started? It's 7:18 already.
Yeah, let's officially start.
Sorry, I was late.
Let me
I was
get the-
talking to one of the new owners of my mom's house.
Let me get the Facebook stream working.
For those people who are on the board, I forgot what we were, for our main program, what we were doing tonight.
Per Steve's email, it was going to be God, what is
Twitch, isn't it?
Twitch is what I remember.
Yeah,
Which is
and,
one of them. The other one is boot camp or something else regarding
visualization.
gaming.
Yeah, with respect to gaming especially.
That was specifically oriented towards Linda and her grandson, I think.
Correct.
A little bit, yeah. We were at one point
What is going on?
going to install Boot Camp on her grandson's computer,
Why?
but that never happened. So we can just chat about it.
Oh, God.
All right. So Facebook should be running now. YouTube is running. OBS is running. I should be able to switch OBS from YouTube to Zoom. Yep. Okay. So, excuse me. Of course. Anyone have any newsy stuff? That
I
has-
have bad news.
Oh,
Do you
no.
want bad news?
Sure.
I told you Charlie Peterson wasn't well, so he died.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Tim. Who was that? Who was that?
Charlie Peterson passed away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I met his
sorry to hear
son. I was at First Friday last Friday, and I was walking out with my friend, and she said, "Oh, there's that guy. His dad died." And I said, "That's like where Brian's studio was." I said, "Was his name Brian?" And so I met his son, and he actually died in June. So, but I didn't know. And I guess that was probably around when I had COVID. So, yeah. So he died in June. I guess because he had had the brain tumor, but he said that was doing better, but the complications with his COPD because of the brain tumor. So yeah, so he died in June.
Wow. I was just talking with someone this afternoon about we're at the age where a lot of people are now passing away.
That's what I was thinking. I said, I'm at that age now where all my friends are dying. And I said, well, not really. My friends are just older than me, but still. I mean, he was like such a good friend of mine. He's the one who first brought me to this club. I mean, he was like the president, I think, back when he first brought me then. So
he was a great photographer. Always was shooting pictures at meetings.
Mm.
this is probably how I first met him as a photographer at the drive-in. I mean, yeah, he's been my good friends over the years. I'm very sad. But his son gave me a piece of his art, so I have a piece of his art.
I'm going to have to look that up and try to find it. Speaking of which, Rick, do you remember Joe Ross from Piano Mart?
I do.
He passed away 2 years ago.
What?
Jackie sent him an email, seeing how you doing. Is it time for a new computer yet? And I guess his sister answered back and said, Joe passed.
He wasn't that old, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was our age.
Jeez, it's frightening.
Yeah.
Well, they do say that average life expectancy in the U.S. was 78 until COVID, and then it went down to 75.
Which is average, and people are dying younger.
Oh.
Yeah, but life expectancy of any person is based on their already age. When you take average life expectancy, that includes people who die really young and so on. If you take the life expectancy of people in their 70s, it's going to be substantially higher.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This is depressing. Oh, I'm sorry for your losses, but this is depressing.
Well, we got a scare, and Carol took her first COVID test this week because she was feeling, out of sorts. And
Very out of sorts.
happily, it was negative.
Yay.
Good.
Good.
Yay.
And I'm feeling much better today, thankfully, but
3 days.
3 days.
Some of these tests that you get, what is it, the antigen test that you get like at the town or whatever, they say that they may not be as accurate
Yeah.
as the other tests, so. Because I felt the same way, Carol, that like on Monday night, I was feeling, I took the test, and it was negative, and then yesterday I felt better, so.
Yeah. I mean, now it seems any little thing, you take a test because there's so many varied symptoms.
Yeah, you sneeze once and.
I know.
But anyway, so questions.
Well, that's a couple of things that Apple had in the news. They did announce recently that they are going to start showing Major League Baseball on Apple TV, and from the first couple of games that have played, people are saying that the announcers aren't really all that good. But maybe they'll grow into it. And that's going to be interesting to see, because apparently, the best announcers are at the bigger networks.
One thing to notice on those the games that are on either Amazon or Apple TV, the quality is a lot better than you get over from cable.
Yeah, most of them are 4K.
They're 4K, so you can, if you switch back and forth, you can really see the difference of the picture in the Apple app, because it is a 4K HDR or 4K, but so it's kind of amazing, the quality of the picture for sports.
Yeah, we were doing that this week. I ended up getting a new TV. My old one broke. And you can't get a non-4K TV, which is interesting. It's very hard to find a TV that's not 4K. So I ended up with a Toshiba, and it had native apps for YouTube and Amazon. And so I'm watching YouTube 4K on the Toshiba's internal app versus Apple TV YouTube app. My Apple TV is only HD, so the TV is upscaling it to 4K, and you could tell the difference between upscaled HD and real 4K. So now I'm going to have to buy a new 4K Apple TV. to get the rest of the content. But then for a lot of the streaming services, getting 4K costs more. So that's frustrating too.
Do you know where to get one?
Yeah, I've heard of a couple of places.
Yeah.
One of the other things that Apple happened with Apple is their third quarter results came out. They had $83 billion in revenue for the quarter, and that's really good. Let's do six colors. Get Jason's charts. Quarterly results. All right, we got to search for it because it was a couple of weeks ago, so you can't find it right now. There's no search. I just have to keep going back. There it is. Search is at the bottom. And we want newest. There it is, third quarter results. So again, iPhone is about half of Apple's revenue. What's nice is that the Mac has actually grown quite a bit. Services are the weird ones. It's like iTunes, Apple TV, iCloud, things like that don't have any tangible product. And then wearables is the watch and the AirPods show up under wearables. So Mac revenue down a little bit over last quarter, which is typical because this is the summer quarter. And it's leading into fourth quarter is going to be where the phones get announced. So there was a drop in Mac revenue, but it's been interesting cycles as it goes through the quarter. iPad revenue is kind of leveled off. Year over year, iPad revenue has dropped a little bit, and most of the analysts are saying that they think the iPad market is saturated, that everyone who wants an iPad has an iPad, and they generally last longer than Macs or other computers, so that it's you don't replace them as often. So you may keep your iPad 4 or 5, 6 years.
Steve, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Your screen sharing is showing on YouTube and Facebook, but not in Zoom.
But I have to hit a different button in Zoom.
And while I have you disrupted, can you check and see if that real-time transcriptions thing is switched on in YouTube?
Yes, YouTube and Facebook are both doing it.
They are.
Yep.
So, God, I don't even know what I mean anymore.
Yep. So it's about 20, 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, that's all right. But on YouTube, I'm getting what I'm getting.
You may have to switch it on at your end with the CC icon.
What's the CC icon?
Closed caption.
Okay. Well, in my previous experience with this thing on my iPad, there were various little icons there, dislike, live chat, maybe that, I don't know, maybe. No, that's chat, I think.
Let me see where it is on the iPad.
There had been a 3-dot ellipsis menu, and I poked that, and that offered you the transcript. But right now,
tap on the live window, and it brings up more menus. And in the upper right corner is the little CC icon.
No, that's center, left, or right. Crap. Sorry about this, folks, but this is an interesting feature, and I don't understand. I stumbled onto it accidentally in the first place. I have been able to access it again since then, and now I can't freaking find it.
Just in the YouTube video that's running live,
Right.
you tap anywhere in the video, and it opens up a few extra menus, at the top and bottom of the video. Little extra icons, I guess is a better word, and they stay on
Right.
for half a second before they go away again. Are you in the YouTube app or are you in Safari?
I'm in the YouTube app.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Hang on a second. After that,
Oh, I gotta plug my charger in though, on my iPad.
but it's, oh, Jesus.
It's hiding.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I tap the video, then, right, stuff comes up, including a little gear for, like,
Yep,
settings or whatever.
Next to the gear should be the CC.
And it gave me a choice of captions off or English auto-generated.
Yep.
And so I hit English auto-generated, and what it gives me is a live closed captioning in the bottom of the video screen, but not access to that whole sidebar that had the transcript before.
Oh, I've never seen a transcript.
We talked about this, geez, I don't know, what was it, the last board meeting or something? And I thought you were looking at it, but I couldn't know, of course.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I gotta look it up in. Anyone else know how to do the transcript in YouTube? Because normally you see the chat. If someone posts a comment, you see the chat. So I can post a chat.
Sounds like no one has experienced this.
8,165.
Oh, that's awesome.
Has anyone else ever experienced this?
Oh, there were third-party programs for creating transcript files.
Yeah, and now what I'm seeing in the YouTube on my iPad catching up with things is what I've just been saying. But it's happening, as I said before, as a little box at the bottom of the video itself, not
Right,
the sidebar.
Yeah, that's where captions usually show.
Right, but the thing about the sidebar, the transcript, is that it's complete. It covers the entire video, and it actually has timings on it.
Yep.
You can scroll up or down it and catch up on anything you might have missed or whatever. And
Okay, I see so it says to hit the down arrow button. No, that minimized it.
is that for you or for me you're talking now?
Oh, this is on How to Geek. So at under the video, at the title of the video, there's a down arrow button. And under down arrow, there's supposed to be a show transcript.
What pops up is,
And there isn't.
right, to the right of the title, so to speak, of the video.
Yeah,
22.
that's the
Yeah.
information that I put into of the video itself.
Exactly.
So what's the date on this? March of 2022. So desktop and iPod, iPhone are supposed to do the same way.
And when you and I talked about this, possibly at that last board meeting, I know that you got into it to the point of saying that it was only available in English. You recall that?
Yeah.
So wherever you were in the YouTube stuff, you were in the right place. And it's possible.
See if it works on the desktop.
Right now, I was looking at YouTube and I'm seeing a transcript of everything live.
No, you're seeing closed captioning.
Oh, that's not the same thing?
No, transcript is all of the text continuously, and it stays there, so you can scroll back and forth.
Oh.
As recently stated.
So desktop, next to save, there's supposed to be 3 dots. And there isn't a flag. I only have a flag. So this How to Geek article, neither desktop nor iOS instructions are working. Maybe it only works in Chrome, not in Safari. Let me try Chrome. Go into the live video. Nope, still don't have the 3 dots. Next to save is a flag command to report indiscretions. Participants pop out timestamp. No.
Oh, God.
So it never wants to be there when you're doing it yourself. No, maybe, okay, let me sign in. Maybe because I'm not signed in. No, I want to get into my personal account, not the company account. Google. Okay. Nope. YouTube, sign in. Yes, I want to go to that account. That account. Oh, that password has changed.
Okay.
Did anyone else see that transcript button?
I can't even find Zoom. Yes, I'll go to that account.
All right, logged into Chrome, logged into Google on Chrome in YouTube. Let's see if there's a transcript option. No. Click the 3-dot menu. There isn't one. So something isn't working, or Google removed that feature, which I could see them doing. So actually, I should have been doing that in this window. So this is what you're supposed to see. Next to the save button, there's supposed to be 3 dots to show transcript. That's on the computer.
And that's at your end as host, right?
No, that's whoever's viewing it.
Okay.
And on iOS, you're supposed to pull down the menu next to the title, and you should get a show transcript.
And you're sure it'll do the whole thing live, and that you don't have to like upload the text first?
That's an interesting question, Rick. I'm not certain about it. I think Steve might know the answer better, but my impression, my feeling is that yes, it'll work live. That it doesn't, in other words, it doesn't add the transcript later. But maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it does only add it later. Let me go back to a previous video.
In which case, I'm glad George didn't try to join us because it would not have worked.
In a previous video, I can show a transcript. So on a live video, you just get closed captioning. In a previous video, you get transcripts.
Okay,
that makes perfect sense.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So if we go to YouTube, pick an old show, Oh, maybe because I'm logged in as me in this window. No, 3 dots, show transcript. There it is. Yeah, so in a previous video you get a transcript. In the live video you just get closed captions.
Okay, so that kind of shoots the feasibility of using it to help George follow a meeting online.
Well, you can follow it live.
Well, no, he can't. The whole point is that his hearing is terrible, and so you'd have to catch those closed captions continuously, and I have not been watching them closely as we've been going along tonight, but I would assume that the text of them would be the same as what you end up later in the transcript, in which case it's actually pretty good, but you'd really have to be right on top of it, and I don't know,
Well, you can back up and play it again, and the captions should play again.
You can always tune in later and then see the transcript.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's an interesting. Well, the whole idea was too that he would be able to use the Zoom chat to make comments or ask questions, and then follow his answer from the YouTube transcript. Granted, there's a time latency there, but you could work around it. But an interesting question that occurs to me right now is whether, since we have been, and I guess I can shut up and go back to my iPad and follow this, but whether if we go back in tonight's video.
Well, that's what I've got on screen now. I jumped back half an hour.
Yeah.
Trying to see if the captions come back again.
Right, that's my question.
It did for a minute.
There's a flag here. What does the flag do?
Reports it as inappropriate.
Oh, well, don't do that then.
Yeah. Maybe we weren't talking yet. There it is, yeah. So this was at 7:14, and it's replaying the captions.
Cool. All right. So what that probably means is that the captions are generated during the live stream and stored, and then once you upload the final video, the captions become the transcript. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But actually, no. It makes sense, but that's not how it works. I remember reading that.
Okay.
The transcript is generated separately by a different voice detection system. So the live captions may not exactly match the transcript.
All right.
But the transcript should be more accurate.
Which explains why I found it quite, clear and readable and not full of the crazy crap I get watching YouTube movies online with the
Yeah.
closed captions and everything. All right. Well, thanks a lot for looking into that.
Yep. So I guess, so bottom line, Apple made a crap ton of money. Services is where the biggest growth is, almost 20% growth in services. If you have a little bit of money lying around, you may want to get some Apple stock. I bought some at 115 and it's now 165, and I'm wishing I'd have bought more then and thinking I should buy more now. So $19 billion in profit for the quarter. And as we saw earlier, most of it is phone. What's interesting is other countries. So China is kind of on a upswing again. For a while, they were really flat and on a downturn. There was a sort of nationalist pride movement in China to buy only Chinese phones and not get foreign phones. Kind of the same thing we went through here in America, buying only American stuff and not foreign stuff. But if no one ever buys foreign stuff, then we don't have any mutual benefit with our foreign neighbors.
Hey, Ty Dibble joined us. Hi, Ty. How you doing?
Oh, cool. I think, well, that's sort of how Skip remembered us again. When I sent that email out with Ken's suggestion, to 400 past members, that a couple of people said, "Oh, hey, yeah, that's right. You're there, aren't you?"
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yep. Even and especially since we've been doing stuff on the internet, you don't have to be physically in town.
Ty, you're muted. You're muted, Ty. Uh-oh, you're spinning, Ty.
He's
You're
rotating.
spinning around.
Got a beard there, getting old in your old age, like the rest of us. All right, Brampton, new shows. Now this was kind of interesting. I don't remember if we talked about it last month. Apple scored 52 Emmy nominations, which is amazing for a streaming-only service. And let me see, they won. I think they won for Best Picture. This may be only nominations. Where is winners? That was a later press release. So Ted Lasso got 20. Severance got 14.
Happened already?
Actually, that's a good point. The Emmys might not have happened yet. Let's see. EMMYS. Emmys. When are the Emmys? 2022 nominations. 73 years they've been going. When? September 12th. So that we gotta wait. I think it was last year they won. There was a movie. What was it? Coda?
Yeah.
Yes, we just watched that.
Yep.
4-star movie.
Yeah, and it won a lot of awards, which is interesting because it's a foreign film and it's a streaming-only film. Oh no, actually, I guess it was released theatrically in some theaters. Where is their accolades? Won 3 awards: Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay. So just a couple of years ago, was it Spielberg or Lucas that was moaning that streaming movies shouldn't be part of the Emmys or the Oscars because they're not movies, they're television. But these are movies that show on a smaller screen.
Is there, I know there was a requirement that they had to be shown, the movies had to be shown in at least a few number of movie theaters. And I don't know if they got rid of that or if that's still true.
I don't know what the current rule is with streaming. I mean, in the past, the rule was, like for independent films and documentaries and things, it had to have at least a 1-week run in an accredited theater to be nominated. But that was pre-streaming, so I don't know how streaming has changed things, but that used to be the rule.
Let's see.
And they do show in theaters. Netflix movies show in theaters, and Coda. I saw the movies, of course, the week before the Oscars at Tinseltown for their Oscar week. I don't know what shown when they were released then, but Netflix definitely used to show in theaters.
So that's an interesting criteria. On-screen representation, themes and narratives, inclusion and creative leadership, industry access and opportunities, and training programs and audience development. None of those seem to be stating that it has to go to a theater.
No, that was for a different thing.
That was the Academy Awards for the Oscars.
Right, but it's changes that are made to the Oscars to try and be more inclusive. That's different from...
They have new eligibility rules to be nominated for Best Picture, that you have to have a certain percentage of minorities working at film. That was like 2 years ago.
It was qualifying theatrical release, January to December. So what's a qualifying theater?
What is qualifying theatrical release?
Oh, so during COVID, the Oscars said that they don't need to be in the theaters, but starting next year, there is going to be the requirement to go back into the theaters to qualify for an Oscar.
Yeah, so this is the rules for the 95th Oscars, which will be broadcast next year. So it does have to be in a theater in 2022. Which is interesting because the deadline is, November for some of them and October for some of them. And a lot of times what I've read is that the movies that are released earlier in the year don't often get too many nominations because they're sort of forgotten about by the end of the year.
Yeah. Unless it's really good or certain categories.
Yep. Or re-release.
Okay, well, I think we're kind of
a
little off topic here.
So did anyone get an M2?
No, not yet.
We had a couple of customers trade in their M1s to get the M2 because they have to have the fastest.
Oh my God.
It's a little confusing now because the M2 is faster than the M1, but the M1 Pro, Max and Ultra are faster than the M2.
Did you read that last month the M1s were cracked by some MIT people using Pac-Man?
What do you mean cracked?
They were able to hack it, I guess.
Well, that's a chip. You're supposed to be able to do that.
No, this is a security issue.
Security flaw, maybe?
Yeah, it was a flaw.
Oh, they
there it is.
Named it Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But don't worry. If you need to have the MIT Artificial Intelligence Lab behind you to do it.
I have them on speed dial.
Yeah.
But I left my phone in storage, so I can't call them right now.
So it's speculative execution, which is the same issue that the Intel and AMD chips have had with Spectre and Meltdown. That when a chip has a branch, so yes/no decision, it'll do both and start processing both decision trees until the decision is made, and then it will erase the wrong decision and keep going on the right decision. But it's speculating what might happen, so it can run faster. Theoretically, with these speculation errors, you can see that speculation tree before it's actually flushed. But it's extremely difficult to do, and does not impose an immediate risk. But it's good that the researchers are looking at this stuff so that the next chips can be designed around it. Yeah, don't.
So I assume this affects the M2 as well?
Probably, because they're all based on the sort of the same core architecture. And the M2 has probably already been, the M2 is based on the A15, so it's already been and developed for several years. So it's the same thing in the Intel world, is that the next 4 or 5 generations of chips are already being designed and tested. So it's going to have to be many years before something major can be changed in the current life cycle. And I think if I remember, they were talking about this on Security Now, that you need to have physical access to the computer as well. And if someone has physical access to your computer, it's almost impossible to stop them from getting any of your data. So with physical access, you're already screwed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that answers that question. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
And I'll interrupt to say hello to everybody. This is Ty, and I finally figured out how to get myself unmuted.
Hi, Ty.
I haven't done a Zoom meeting in forever. Oh well. as you can see by my lack of good behavior, I'm sitting here eating.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had a couple of cheese sticks I was going to get to, but haven't got to it yet. Oh, welcome. Where are you these days?
Titusville, Florida.
Nice.
Ah,
Yeah, I forgot. I said a bunch of things before I was muted.
There's a really neat Air and Space Museum down there, and the Astronaut Walk of Fame.
I've been there, and I have a girlfriend now. My wife passed away last year. Diana has been gone for more than a year now.
Mm.
The new girlfriend lives exactly across the water from NASA.
Oh, nice.
So
Cool.
I can sit on her front porch and watch launches.
Oh, awesome. We'll have to visit you when we come down.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Or just stream it live.
Yeah,
Yeah, or watch it.
they do, yeah.
Last night it was a 7 o'clock launch, and then that didn't happen. Then it was a 10 o'clock launch, but I wasn't there anymore. I came back to my place last night. My girlfriend currently is in London, England, and next week she'll be in Portugal. And at the end of the month, she'll be back here again. And at the end of the month, I will be getting a new knee. My left knee has finally caused me enough trouble over the years. Going to trade it in on something a little metal.
Going bionic. We were down at the, we went to the Sands Air Force Missile Museum. And
Yeah.
while we're walking up toward the museum, the building in front of the museum is the SpaceX Launch Control Center. And I go, oh,
Yeah.
wow. And then so we look off to the side, and way off in the distance, there's the VAB. Wow. Didn't know
Yeah.
we were quite that close.
And it turns out that I now know there's a lady who's helping my girlfriend with her dog, and her husband is working for SpaceX. And my next door neighbor, he's now working for NASA, and he's working on Artemis. So that'll be interesting as well.
Yeah, that's Artemis is supposed to launch in
End of the month,
end of the month. Yeah,
29th, I
and
believe.
dropping some CubeSats on the moon.
That I'm interested in. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? They have a burning need to understand.
Does that mean we're doing kind of a Q&A here?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
it's
some
Q&A
Q&A.
time.
Well, I got an instant Q&A for you.
Yeah.
I'm on Zoom. You know
Just add water.
what?
Just add water.
Oh,
You
okay,
said an instant Q&A. I said just add water.
right.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I enjoy your. I don't know whether I should admit it, but our minds work in similar ways. So anyway, I've got my MacBook here. I've got Zoom going. I've got AirPods, and I stick them in my ears. Somebody say something.
Hello.
Yep. Nope. Still coming out of the speakers on the MacBook. So, I forgot this when it says you are viewing Apple CIDER's screen, and that covers the little icon for the. There we go. Thank you.
To share you so you guys can see anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
is that-
So I don't know if Zoom obeys the computer audio settings, but Zoom has its own audio and video settings, which is different on the computer than it is on the iPad.
So there should be a settings thing down here somewhere.
Yeah, to select which microphone and which speaker you want to use, which is an independent setting. One of the options is same as system, but it can be set to a different setting.
I think I've probably seen settings on Zoom before. Now, again, I'm on the MacBook here. I'm on the Zoom screen.
At the bottom of the window, you got all your little buttons.
Yeah.
Next to mute, there's an up arrow.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Those are quick settings.
Yep. Select the microphone, select the speaker. Charles's AirPods, I will click, and suddenly it will come out. Somebody say something.
Yep, Zoom should be coming out your AirPods, but the other computer audio will come out the other computer audio setting.
Okay.
So
Thank
you
you.
can have them set to different things.
Uh-huh.
So in that
Right.
menu, if you select same as system, then it will use the same setting that the operating system is using.
Right. Yeah.
And that you can set from the headphone menu in the menu bar or in the sound to system preference.
Right. Thank you. I think it's kind of shitty to just use a little up caret to indicate that it's a settings menu, but that's just me.
Well, it's usually a down caret that indicates there's a menu, but since it's at the bottom of the screen and you push it and the menu goes up, I can see how they think it's a menu. The same thing next to the video. You can choose which camera you're using and change your background.
Thank you.
Oh,
I got a quick question.
Yep, go ahead, Rick.
I was talking with you about iMovie and the difficulties I was having, and I wanted to know where in iMovie the projects were kept. And you said to like right-click on the iMovie application and go into Show Contents, and I did that and I couldn't find it.
No, the project files are in your home folder under Movies.
Okay, is that also where the media is as well?
Right, the media is in that project folder, and that's where you right-click on it and Show Contents. Let me see if I can. Yes, I can bring that up. So here is my Movies folder, and in there is the iMovie projects. And I don't have any iMovie projects, but in there would be a project that you saved, and if you right-click on it and do Show Contents, then you can see the media in that project.
Okay.
I wonder if I have a DVD project. Yeah, this is the older iMovie where it was individual folders, and it was easy to break the link between your movie and your project. So in the newer iMovie, they have iMovie projects, IMO. There it is. How about I just sort by name, then I can find them. iMovie Library, it may also be in too. That's even newer than iMovie projects on my computer. So that could be it. So if let me do a get info. How big is that? Yeah, that's 1.2 gigs. So iMovie Library in your Movies folder, which is in your home folder on your hard drive.
Okay.
Now we do a right click on that and Show Contents. And now you can see each of the movies in your library.
Mm-hmm.
And now it acts like ordinary folders. So you can see the original media in that project, the render files, the instructional files on your start points and stop points, and effects, wipes and zooms, things like that.
Okay, and if you manually remove stuff from the library this way, it's not going to ruin anything for iMovie
it
for
will
you.
break the movie from playing if you remove its media.
But that's all it does.
Right.
Okay.
You'll probably get a blank. So if I removed one of the media files, you'd probably get a blank piece in your overall movie. You'll probably say missing file or something like that.
Okay. All right, so I can drag stuff out of there, and hopefully, if I dragged it back, it would work again.
Probably.
Okay, no guarantees.
Make it back up first. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried it.
All right.
This was my. No, that's not going to show, is it? You're not seeing the actual video file, are you?
Nope.
I have a. That's my 100th flight in my log. That was on my Timber, I think. Or no, that's the Turbo Timber. I just broke 200 flights last week in my flight log. Alright, so I can stop that share. And I'll go back to Safari. Alright, anyone else have a question?
When will the new iPad Pro 12.9 inches come out? Will it be this fall?
We never know specifically when new products are coming out. We can only guess. The biggest guess is September will be the new phone. One of the things we've seen is Mac Rumors has a buyer's guide. Let me trying to see if this is what. Yeah. So the Mac Rumors has this buyer's guide for all the different products. So it's mostly related to how long ago they came out. So the iPhone 13 came out a year ago, and we're pretty sure there's an iPhone 14 coming in September, so don't buy one now, unless you really, really have to, because there's probably one coming in the next month or so. The iPhone SE was just released 155 days ago, and so, excuse me, on average, it's 700 days between releases, so that's probably okay to buy. There won't be a new one soon. But you said the 12-inch? So that's on a don't buy. It's been 467 days. The last update was April of 2021. And so in any time around this 500-day mark is when they have come out in the past. So the big question is whether the Macs are going to come out first or the iPads are going to come out first. We are expecting... We've got the M2 MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. We're expecting the M2 versions of the higher end, 14-inch and 16. So as I had started saying earlier, the M2 is faster than the M1, but the M1 Pro is faster than the M2. So the M2 Pro is due out. M2 Pro, M2 Ultra, and M2 Max will be put into the 14s and 16 inches. The iMac is also fairly long in the tooth, and will there be an M2 iMac? There were a lot of thoughts about an iMac Pro that would have the faster processor in it, but that sort of became the Mac Studio. So the Mac Studio sort of replaced the iMac Pro in the product line, especially with the 27-inch monitor. That becomes your 27-inch iMac. And Apple has still yet to replace the Mac Pro, the Super Whiz-Bang Mac Pro, which has been 974 days. Although the last model took over 2,000 days to get replaced. So that Apple has said they're going to finish... when they started the Apple Silicon transition, they said it was going to take 2 years. And so 2 years is next summer, I think. Yeah, the first Apple Silicon Macs were WWDC in 2021. So probably in the next 6 months we'll see the Mac Pro. So the
2020.
Pardon?
2020.
That's right. It was 2020. So maybe by the end of this year is the 2-year mark. So the M1 Ultra is 2 M1 Maxes together. So the expectation in the Mac Pro was that it was going to be 2 Ultras together, which is 4 Pros or more, to get an even faster machine than the Mac Studio, with internal expansion. The big thing on the Mac Pro is it's got internal expansion, where the Mac Studio expansion is external. It's got a bunch of ports externally. Internal ports are always faster than external, but having internal expansion capability makes the chassis a lot bigger, and the computer costs more because of it. So it's kind of an interesting thing to look at how long ago the last one came out, and is it due to get replaced. The high-end iPads are based on the M1, so it's likely that the 12-inch iPad is going to come out with an M2. Probably by the end of the year, but we never know. Sometimes there are you read reports about products being constrained. When they get hard to find, that usually means there's a new one coming. Unfortunately, with the product manufacturing constraints already, it's hard to tell what's a constraint and what is a just a manufacturing delay. either delayed manufacturing or that product is actually gone and they're making new ones now. So all the rumors are saying that they've been making iPhone 14s for about 2 months now, so they'll be able to fill the first couple million orders when it gets announced next month. So that's Mac rumors and their buyer's guide when things might be coming out next.
Can I try a Q&A thing here, please?
Sure.
I've been trying to follow YouTube and Facebook videos on an iPad.
Yep.
And it's an older one I actually got from George a couple years ago. And it works okay. But using it today, I noticed that as far as tapping is concerned, I really have to poke the thing. Now, does this do a swollen battery thing like my MacBook Pro did?
It can, but it shouldn't affect the tapping. The tapping is not a force sensor. It's a capacitance sensor.
Okay, so
I have noticed that on my iPad too. Every now and then, it just takes a harder press, and usually rebooting it makes it work better again.
Okay, because I went into settings. Come on. And I found, what did I get into? I got into, was it general or was it accessibility? I think I went into figuring that maybe that would have the effect. And touch, and then it has assistive touch and haptic touch and touch accommodations, yada, yada. And I thought I changed one of those, but right now they're just saying off and so on. So, okay, after the meeting's over, sometime I'll just try restarting the thing and see if it works any better. I can use it at this point.
Yeah, the haptic touch is how long it takes to reveal. So whether it's you touch and hold, is it a half a second before the menu pops up, or is it a second before the menu pops up?
Okay.
Kind of thing. But because the iPad never had the force sensor like the laptops did that could tell how hard you were pushing the trackpad,
right.
It's not affected by a swollen battery. There still can be a swollen battery. Typically you would see that by lying the iPad on a flat surface and seeing if it rocks.
Yeah.
And you can check in the battery settings to see what the battery health is listed as.
I have a feeling
battery health is only phone.
Well, I have a feeling that might not help me anyway, because when I had the problem with the MacBook Pro with a swollen battery, I think at least per coconut battery, we're saying the battery was fine. I don't recall if I looked in the preferences stuff on the battery.
Coconut battery can also read the iPad battery when you plug it into your computer.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's interesting. Your battery can be swollen and still test fine.
Right. Because electrically it's still working okay.
Right.
But, it's just that physically it's getting ready to blow up.
Well, fortunately, the gas it's swelling with is non-toxic.
Yeah, but it's the flammability that interests me.
Yeah. So we really want the to go to the solid capacitance gels that are under development instead of the liquid capacitance that can boil. They're basically, the liquid is boiling and creating carbon dioxide.
If you want, at the risk of getting really off the Apple railroad tracks here, did anybody else see an article about how we gave some advanced battery technology to the Chinese? And I can't think what it was. It's a different chemistry. It's a major breakthrough thing and so on. And apparently under both Trump and Biden, we've been just letting the Chinese have at it. Nobody else saw that, huh?
I did, yeah.
Okay, well, good, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it was on NPR.
I don't know if you think you're sharing your screen now, Steve, but I'm not seeing screen sharing.
Okay. That's a different button again. Share screen, Safari, share, OBS, turn off Zoom, turn on Safari. So it's researchers. So it's not unusual for scientists and researchers to share technology, to share papers. Vanadium redox flow battery rather than lithium polymer. Yeah, chemical engineers from Una Energy. One of the problems with lithium is that lithium mines are in conflicted areas of the world. Some of the biggest mines are in Afghanistan. Yeah, licensed as part of a licensing deal to share technology. So theoretically, when they build a better battery, they'll give it back to us.
Right.
That's the hope. You see that a lot in movies where the politicians are fighting with each other, but the scientists are saying, "Here, Chen, have this. You need that, and we'll take it back when you're done." Yeah.
I can understand that from the standpoint of technological progress around the world in general. But on the other hand, the Chinese steal every damn thing of ours they get their hands on.
There was an interesting Russian law that just got passed, which basically says they don't have to abide by international copyright.
Not surprising.
Most of the times these battery breakthroughs take 10 years or more before they get to the public. Let's see. Let's do lithium solid capacitance. Yeah, so this article, when did this article come out? 2012, the solid capacitance batteries started and were introduced to the public.
Did they actually call it solid capacitance?
Or a solid state battery using a solid electrolyte instead of a liquid electrolyte.
Solid electrolyte, yeah.
Which is what insulates between the plus and minus to stop them from joining. That's why if you break a battery or drill into a battery, there's some really great YouTube videos. You drill into it, it short circuits because now you've cut right through the insulator and you're touching the anode and the cathode with a metal drill bit. It bursts into flame as it releases all that energy in one big boost. So you got that 45 watt hours of battery shooting out of energy shooting out of the battery in seconds instead of 45 hours per watt. So the big problem initially is that they're expensive. Yeah, a 20 amp hour cell is $100,000. So we don't want that. But everything always starts out expensive until the technology gets economies of scale and the prices are brought down. Yeah, here's how the dendrites form. Little lithium dendrites creep across the anode to the cathode. And that's why your battery degrades. It can't hold as much charge as it used to because the cells are short-circuiting. And so these two cells can't hold a charge anymore because it keeps short-circuiting and generating heat. And when you get so many of them in your entire battery, the whole battery stops holding a charge. So if you want to encourage your kids and grandkids to get into chemistry and materials science, that's where the money's going to be. If you can invent the next better battery.
Actually speaking Chinese.
Yeah. Nehama. Alrighty, any last questions? All right, let's take about a 10-minute break. I'm going to go refill my cup, and we'll come back and talk about running Windows on your Mac and why you might want to.
I run away now.
Yeah. Well, there's occasional need.
On Saturdays, I offer a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and we're still calling it Green Apples, Ty.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And we got away from that name for a while, and then I thought, well, that's really what it was supposed to be. And so I send out an invitation to anybody who's attended in the past or might want to attend. I can send you an invitation. It's always going to be on Saturdays, 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, feel free to invitation. Now you have my email address.
Oh, you sent it to me in the chat?
Yes.
Because I was contacting you through, oh, I see. Good. So all I do on the invite list, if you can come, be there. And if you, have other things to do, then do them. No urgency.
Thank you.
But I do remember fondly meeting with you and various other people in your office at U of R.
Right. Yeah.
And you amaze me with some of the most trivial things these days. And,
Today it's trivial if I can even remember it.
Yeah, well, it was about sharing from one computer to another, that things could be gone and all of a sudden be on a different computer, email and that whole thing. It was just, I was a rube. And still kind of that way myself. But anyway, I really appreciated that and enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I remember your wife I did some work for you guys.
Yeah.
Some remodeling work years ago, and I really liked her. I'm sorry to hear that she left.
Yeah. She had multiple sclerosis for many, many, many years, and the last several years she had continuing and worsening dementia. And finally getting worse.
I think you had told me something like that several years ago.
Yeah.
And, things happen.
That's where we had to come south to get away from the winters. It was just too much to try to take care of emergency shoveling in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night, to get her into a car with a wheelchair, and then get her to the hospital and get her back out of the car and in the wheelchair through the slush. That was just too much. So we came south. Good to see you, Carol. So,
one of the things I've been doing, we may talk about it when everybody comes back, but there's a NW, it's a world conference of users groups. And they meet once a month, and it's like this, except where we have 10 windows here, 10 people. That has like 40 or 50. And so it's like 2 pages. And the participants are representatives of users groups all over the country and all over the world. There are people from Australia, Austria, Belgium, France, and all over the States. And, I report on that generally. I don't have much to report this month, but I've been going there on a monthly basis for it. One of the things they do is keep a lid on the time of the meeting, where our meetings here tend to linger for 2 or 3 hours. They kind of hold it right to 1 hour, and then it's done. But yeah, keep coming, and I'll be making reports on what I find there. I usually send out to at least to the board or the members transcripts or comments on the. We call it Nauru or something like that, but it's I forget offhand. But the W is for world users groups, organizations, something like that.
That's good. So according to what I was just hearing, Steve, this meeting may last forever.
I didn't say nothing. No, you can go whenever you feel free.
Rick's a pretty good timekeeper for us.
Rick's up.
What was the name of that delicious Mexican restaurant in Titusville? It was right along the ocean.
Do you hear that talk?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. El Leoncito?
Yeah, Leoncita.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, loved it. The food was excellent.
There's actually, I think, three different ones all on that same street, all fairly close to each other. But El Leoncito, big one.
So it's still open.
Yeah, and still doing a bang-up business.
Great,
Yeah.
great to hear it.
Yeah, we've been going down there every year for about 5-6 years, but the
That's 10.
last 2 or 3, we just haven't made it because of COVID.
Yeah, I understand.
But
I had COVID, then I think I had it again. It came back negative on the check, but it was the same symptoms, so I'm kind of guessing I had it a second time. I went ahead and isolated myself regardless.
yeah. Well, I've had my share of ups and downs, but generally I'm pretty good health. My most recent was I had prostate cancer last year, and they took it out, and I took radiation, and now I'm cancer-free. So
My prostate's been out for more than 10 years, like almost 20 years.
do you have any kind of maintenance?
No, they ripped out everything. They ripped out
I
everything.
took Lupron for about a year and a half. Every 3 months, I get a shot and to kill my testosterone and other stuff. And I had my last shot about a month ago, so we'll see if I get manly again.
Yeah, no. When they did mine, they took out everything in the neighborhood, so there was no chance of being manly ever again. Yeah, that was 20 years ago, practically. So
That's good. Survivability is a good thing.
the theory was, I told the doc, I said, look, I want to be here for my wife. She needs me. So do what you got to do. And
You have it done up here before you left
yeah, long time ago. Yeah.
at U of R?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to ask you the name of the doctor because I was not happy with him for a variety of reasons.
Well, it's funny. I've had like 5 different procedures. I had on my aorta, I had a aneurysm.
Mhm.
And a guy named Gillespie was the surgeon. He put in a stent, and I was just in overnight. You know, a little 4-inch incision. They did it laparoscopically, and then I was in the hospital maybe about 4 or 5 years later, and I remembered the doctor, and I mentioned his name, and the nurses said, first of all, they said that he was no longer there. He had moved on to Boston, and he was very prestigious. I guess he was excellent, maybe the best, but he was an asshole,
Yeah.
and they all knew. So it goes.
Yeah, the doc for my prostate, Diana was waiting in the waiting room for him to come back and report on how my son, he never showed up. He claimed he did, but my wife and my daughter were both there, and he never showed up. So,
Yeah, my surgeon was from Egypt.
not the same guy.
Alrighty, are we all back?
I think we're as back as
Start again.
It's a lot empty
Back as we're
chair.
gonna be.
There's Skip. Skip and Ty have in common. They're both expatriates now. Skip moved down to Georgia, and Ty is in Florida. But there are other groups I was talking about that NIRU, the groups around the world. There's groups all over in Florida and Georgia, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's an Apple Users Group Finder, apple.com/usersgroups, where you can find a group. I think, yeah, put in your zip code, I think.
32796.
Find a group.
Find the group and warn them that I'm in town.
Yeah.
It's only
Zip. What was it?
796.
32796.
Should be a big button that says warning.
Yeah. Oh, I did 500 miles.
Oops.
How far do you want to travel?
I don't actually. I think this is
That's 500 miles for sure.
I'm sure most of the groups are doing virtual meetings as well.
if I travel as far as my pocket from my phone, that's good.
We've been doing YouTube simulcasting for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. There's nothing right near close.
Nope, there wasn't when I got here, and I haven't looked since. I also, you may remember, I don't know if you knew, I used to be involved in the movie making group up there.
Mm-hmm.
I came down here, and there was no movie making group either.
Wow.
There was one down next to Melbourne, and I started working with them, and then the chief guy who was running that group left and went to Buffalo.
It looks like there's a Mac group in Melbourne.
Yep.
Goldenrod and New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah, and I've been to both those places, but I haven't looked for Mac users groups there.
I'm surprised it's not showing anything of the villages. Or what's the other one? Naples. I believe the big group that they've talked about at Arulu is Naples.
Mm-hmm.
This is groups that are registered with Apple. Yeah, here it is, the Villages. Oh, the Villages is 70 miles away from him. So I had it limited to 50.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Lakeland, Ocala, St. Augustine.
I'm surprised Lakeland is still listed because George Engel was involved with Lakeland heavily, and when he moved up here, my understanding was the group folded.
They never told Apple, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because their website is down. Alrighty, so there are occasions when you may need to run Windows. There are some business applications that don't have Mac equivalents. And probably the biggest limitation in the Mac world is gaming. That the best games tend to come out on consoles first, and then Windows, and then maybe Mac. So, a tier 1 game might take 5 years to come to the Mac. Some game companies are Mac focused and will do Mac first, sometimes Mac only, which is always nice. So there are occasions where you actually need to use Windows. Traditionally, there have been 2 different ways to use Windows, and that has been expanding. One is Apple's Boot Camp. It has fuss-free installation. I'm not sure I really believe that or not, but I suppose you just click the button and it does it. So is your favorite MMORPG available only for Windows? So they're really pointing toward gaming. You need to have an Intel-based Mac in order to install Boot Camp. So that brings up a problem we're going to talk about a little later. You can get a free Windows installer from Microsoft. However, you may need to pay for the license. Otherwise, it yells at you that you are stealing Windows because you haven't paid for the license. If you absolutely need to use Windows, then then you probably are going to want to pay for the license. And the way Boot Camp works is it repartitions your hard drive and makes a separate volume for Windows. So if you have it's not that bad running Windows. If you have a 500 gig hard drive, you can set aside 100 gigs for Windows, then you get 400 gig for Mac. So that's one of the disadvantages, is it does use a finite amount of space on your Mac. And it's actually very, very hard to change the partition size once you have created it. So you kind of have to plan ahead and make sure you use the right size volume. The biggest advantage of Boot Camp is that you are booting natively into Windows. So Windows doesn't care that it's on a Mac, and because the Mac typically uses much more powerful hardware than cheap Windows computers, Windows actually runs really good on a Mac. And because it has full access to the entire computer, you can often play higher end games. One of the disadvantages, let me see if it says this some here, is that most of the Macs use NVIDIA graphics cards, and most of the best games want an AMD graphics card. So there may be issues there playing the highest frame rates on the highest first-person shooters. But Boot Camp is free, comes with the computer. You just need to get a Windows license. You can download Windows itself for free, and then worry about the license yourself later. The main disadvantage, as I said, is that it does require you to reboot your Mac. So you boot into Mac or you boot into Windows. You can't do both. So to overcome that situation, there are programs called virtualization. And there are three main virtualization programs: Parallels, VMware Fusion, and VirtualBox. These are Mac applications that run on your Mac and create a virtual PC inside your Mac. And since the Mac had, until recently, an Intel-based processor, it didn't actually need to emulate anything. It actually ran native Windows code on your Intel-based Mac. Parallels and Fusion are both in the $70 range. They do have a free trial you can download. And so their biggest advantage is that they run in parallel. So you can have a Windows window and a Mac window side by side and doing them both at the same time. A lot of businesses are starting to do Parallels remote server. And what that basically is you have a remote program that connects into a real PC, and it runs all of the code on that real PC and just sends the screen to you. And that is becoming quite a bit more popular now that internet speeds have gotten fast enough to handle that sort of thing.
Steve, I just wanted to point out that you don't have to do Windows on the virtualization. You could do an earlier or an older version of Mac or any other operating system.
Right. So it can be a different Mac version. It can be Linux or other OSs. Although the Mac OS license precludes you from running it in a virtual machine. So you technically have to be breaking the license to run it in a VM, but it works okay. VMware Fusion. VMware is a very common virtual machine company, that's VMware, and it's very big in enterprises to run a virtual machine. So you have a giant server that runs in the closet, and everyone runs virtual machines on it. And so they have the ability to do the same sort of thing, running Windows in parallel. Now, they do have a free for personal use version of Fusion. So that can save you that first $100. You still supposed to buy the Windows license So, Windows Home is about 120, Windows Pro is about 200. For most everything, Windows Home is fine. You wouldn't really need Windows Pro unless you're connecting to a corporate server, and in that case, they'd probably give you a PC anyway. And then the excuse me, Oracle's VirtualBox is a completely free virtualization program. So you can download this for free and install it, and then it runs all the versions of Windows available. It runs Linux and Solaris and OS2. Theoretically, it can run older versions of Mac OS, but it's tricky because Mac OS actually looks to see if it's running on a Macintosh or not. And if it's not on a real Mac, it will fight you. And so there's a whole group of people that have created what's being called the Hackintosh, being able to run Mac OS on a generic Windows PC. The closer your hardware is to a real Mac, the better the Hackintosh works. So all of these are actually running Windows on your computer, either booting into native Windows or running Windows in a virtual PC in your computer. And since they are running Windows, it is vulnerable to all the other problems that Windows has. So you really should be running antivirus and anti-malware and everything inside the Windows environment. You can restrict the Windows environment so that it can't talk to the Mac, which generally you probably do want to do, because if you happen to get a Windows virus in your virtual machine, it could affect your Mac files. It could delete files. It could encrypt files with ransomware. There's so much nasty stuff in the Windows world that you probably don't want to do it very often on your Mac. There is also a program called Wine. Wine is not an emulator. Yeah. So, in the earlier days in PowerPC and 68000, there were emulator programs. Virtual PC was probably the most popular emulator. You would run it on your PowerPC Mac, and it emulated an Intel PC so that you could run Windows. Wine comes from the Unix world, and it's being developed so that Unix computers can run Windows programs. It's not really an emulator, it's a translator. And one of the big things about Wine is you don't need to pay for a Microsoft Windows license. It can run Windows apps without needing Windows because it translates the Intel instructions in Windows into whatever your host computer is. It doesn't work with all programs, but they have a list of programs it does work with, including some of the top tier games. And you can do a search for a program you want to run to see if it will work on Wine. Wine can be very tricky to install on your Mac because it's a Unix program, so you have to do a lot of Unixy things. So what's a little more popular is Codeweavers. So Codeweavers has a program called Crossover, and it is in essence, it's a commercial version of the open source Wine, where they've installed, they've created package installers, they have created a help desk system, basically. So it's the free Wine, but it's a one-click install, and it's only $59, which isn't pretty bad, so that you can run Windows applications on your Mac without needing to purchase a Windows license and without needing to run a virtual machine. Again, it only works with some applications, not all, but you can type in you can type in an application you want to run. Let's say Call of Duty, and it will tell you, so Call of Duty it will not install. But I think that's the old one I saw. What's the newest Call of Duty? Any gamers here? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. gets a 2-star.
Installs but will not run.
Installs but will not run, yeah. So if you want to do something like this with Wine, make sure the program you are wanting to run will work.
Steve?
Now, a lot of people, hang on just a second, a lot of people use Quicken for Windows because it has more features than Quicken for Mac. And so you can run Quicken for Windows inside of Wine or any other Windows virtual machine and get all those extra features in Quicken and not have to buy a PC, basically. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Would you be susceptible to viruses and things like that through Wine?
Technically, yes. You would have to be running a web browser, a Windows web browser, that would download a Windows file that would then launch in Wine. So it's not likely, but it's possible. Because you'd probably be running a Mac web browser. Well, even in a Mac web browser, if it downloaded an exe file, it could theoretically auto-install, although most browsers don't auto-install things you download. They used to, because people couldn't find where they downloaded it, too. And so I see a lot of download folders that have 100 copies of Zoom in it, because they download it and don't know they have to go to the download folder and actually run the installer. But that exe would download to your Mac, and if you had Wine or another VM program installed, it could run and theoretically could infect your Windows environment. But it's not as likely, because you'd have to manually run it yourself, most likely.
How many of these will work? One.
What was that?
How many will work with an M1?
That's the next problem. Because Apple is moving to Apple Silicon, it is trickier. So you need to get Windows for ARM. So ARM is the alternate chipset. So it's not the x86 instruction set. It's a different chip that phones have used. It's what Apple based the A series for their phones. It's what Android phones use. A lot of Android tablets use it. So initially it was used as a mobile operating system, but it's possible, because Microsoft does have Windows for ARM, that you can download and install Windows for ARM inside a virtual machine. We have done it for a couple of clients inside of Parallels, because they needed a medical program, and they were all Macs, and this medical program required a Windows machine. So Microsoft is actually now selling an ARM computer. So it used to be kind of tricky to get Windows for ARM, but now it's getting a little bit easier. What we're starting to see instead of running Windows is, well, it's not a virtual machine, it's a virtual desktop. So, let's see. Instead of running Windows on your computer, that's not what I wanted. You're going to use, so two ways. A lot of programs like this now use web services. So you need to log into the multiple listing service for real estate. It's now a web page that works in any web browser. Or you need to log into a medical program in order to submit your insurance claim. It's now a web browser. So the web has democratized a lot of things, so that you don't need, it doesn't care what OS you're running, and you don't need any specialized apps. So the other end will be running something like Azure Virtual Desktop or Microsoft Virtual Desktop. So you run a client program on your computer that shows the window of the other end. And Microsoft Remote Desktop, I want Remote Desktop, not virtual, is available in the Mac App Store. That's not going to show me. Maybe this will. And so you can use that to connect into a remote PC and control it as if you were sitting in front of it. It's very similar to the screen sharing function built into a Mac, where you can remotely control someone's computer as if you were sitting in front of it. They just have to set it up ahead of time, and the easiest way is to set it up through the Messages app. And a lot of people use that to help their parents or grandparents with computer problems when they're not in the same town. So you can use Messages to start a screen share and then remotely control that person's computer. In fact, I can probably mimic that here in just a couple minutes. And so Microsoft Remote Desktop, Citrix Remote Desktop, there's a lot of different remote desktop programs that companies are starting to use now. And especially for games, Google, what is it? Google, I had it a minute ago. Several companies have started, Google Stadia. Several companies have started streaming games. Now, the iPhone, and by extension the iPad and the Apple TV, are really masters of casual gaming. Developers are making billions of dollars a year with casual gaming, but usually only the top 2 or 3% are making enough money, and it's everyone else is kind of as a side business. In fact, Apple, to address some of the concerns that we've talked about in the past, they have lowered their commission rate. So when you sell an app in the App Store, if your company earns less than $1 million a year, it's only a 15% commission. If you earn more than $1 million a year, it's a 30% commission. Oh, and Facebook took out full-page ads screaming at Apple about this. You may remember the Epic Fortnite problem, where Fortnite has been removed from the App Store because Epic wanted to have their own App Store and not pay Apple their commission. And so ironically, or maybe not ironically, Epic charges 30% commission in their store. Facebook charges 47% commission in their store. And so this all sort of came out during the lawsuits with Epic against Apple, and Apple won all these lawsuits partly because of that. So Google Stadia, I lost my Google Stadia icon. Google Stadia is one where the game is played at the other end, and the screen is streamed to your computer. And Google Stadia plays inside of a web browser. And Epic has their Game Pass that plays inside of a web browser. And Steam, not Stream, Steam. Steam has games that play inside of the web browser. And so we're seeing more of these types of online games come up that can play through your web browser, and you don't need to download anything for your computer. So it makes cross-platform gaming much more common, where you can play a game. You can play the difference between a Windows game and a Mac game is getting to be a little less obvious, because you can be a Steam game and play on Mac or Linux or on Windows. Now, one of the things that's coming out, and I just saw it here, let me get back to it. Steam is creating the Steam Box, Steam Deck, which is basically a handheld computer to run Steam games. So they're going to be competing against the iPhone running iOS games and Android phones running Android games. And this is basically a Linux computer in a handheld configuration running an ARM processor. So that implies that they're going to be making more and more games available for Linux. And it starts at $399 with 64 gigs of storage. So if you want to get into more first-person shooter games, that was a side-scroller game, then that's available in the iOS store or the Mac App Store. We're seeing more and more things coming out with cross-platform gaming, Windows gaming. The Stadia games work in the Chrome web browser, so that you can play it on your Mac in Chrome. Microsoft had a streaming game service that they were working on, but they discontinued the Mac version. And we were really annoyed about that. So it's kind of a wide open world now, where the reason, oops, that's next. You may not need to run Windows on your Mac anymore, because the reasons have been replaced by web services and by remote desktop services. Let me close down a few of these windows. Oh, I lost my Twitch window. I wanted that. We'll go back there for the next thing we're talking about. All right, so now I am going to share my desktop screen. Can I do that? I don't have a desktop screen. I'm gonna make
time. You know, it's the best way to play. You get a nice
all
drink.
the time. You do that all the time?
Yeah, that's how I enjoy things. You know,
I don't think
it's fine. My friends know. So, hey, friends, we are just about out of time for today's show. If you enjoyed Nightfall, if you enjoyed our Apex gameplay, just feel free to scream about it in the comments. Yes, you can talk trash about my aim, but you can't talk trash directly to me. I'm gonna ignore everything.
Would ignore it.
But definitely
we're
check
playing-
those out.
Playing
we're-
Fall Guys.
Yeah,
and,
next week.
Yeah, 8/17, and we're not playing Squabble, right? Squabble's out.
Yeah,
It's
Squabble.
Animal Planet. What are we playing?
Probably out. We're playing Animal Planet. Yeah.
I immediately forget. Super Animal?
Super Animal Playground, right?
Super Animals Royales.
Yeah, the playground animal game. Yeah, that thing.
Perfect.
Good job. Good job, Chad. Good job.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited about Fall Guys, though. Imagine if we did like a Fall Guys, like a custom lobby with everyone in chat. Imagine.
They would destroy us. You know that.
It'd be fun, though.
They would murder us. It would be fun for them, not for you.
Top of the dome. I came up with that. You're right. You're probably right. Absolutely. All right.
Where are you running all of this from, Steve?
Everyone, make sure to follow. Follow the channel, man. We got other shows going on. Not just us. I know you wish it was, but we got other shows.
The main
Yeah, they're
Don't
around.
miss any of these. We got Good at Stuff.
And then I'm
Make a
feeding
Board
it into
Game
OBS
with
to get
Whitney
it
Moore and Steve. We got Fight Night with us. Chelsea Bias.
running on a-
Special guest in
all
jail. We got
running on a
Spotlight.
14-inch
Meet Bryce
M1
Up.
Pro.
Luke AFK Fan. Weast and Retrora. And then we got not just chatting. It's a dating show. We're doing a dating show.
With Blizz Bar. Yeah.
Blizz Bear. We got a dating show.
Yeah, with that guy. He's great. You're going to love
We're
it.
doing it. I just want to repeat, just in case. We're doing a dating show.
A dating show on Twitch.
Not sure if everyone heard that.
I don't know if you heard it,
Fantastic.
but you
So
got to
you
check
should
it
be
out.
seeing
Yeah,
my,
with the great Blizz Bar. Go check it out. All right, guys.
desktop
Thanks for watching. Have a great
with
night,
the
everyone.
network
We'll see you
settings
next time.
showing, right?
Bye.
Network view.
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Get your hot dogs here.
Get your hot dogs.
So what I'm going to do is connect into my iMac, and there's a button called Share Screen, and that will let me see the screen of my iMac. You have to type in your password of the other computer, so there is security involved. There we go. So now it brought up a new screen that you're probably not seeing, are you?
Correct. No.
So it's not on the Finder anymore. It's in the screen sharing program. Screen sharing, there we are. So I can share that to Zoom.
Okay.
So now, this is my iMac. So I can see everything in the iMac as if I were sitting in front of the iMac. So here's all my documents. So I can get into here's my tickets for Sun and Fun. We were down at Lakeland this year, Ty. Didn't realize you were so close. So I'm running the computer as if I'm sitting in front of it, and so I can bring up, this is going to be really interesting, I'm going to bring up the Zoom window of the users group, and I can control the computer as if I were sitting in front of it. So on my iMac, the cursor is moving around, pages are changing, everything is jumping around like someone's sitting at the window doing things, which I basically am, because this is being remote controlled. Now,
is everyone else seeing this? I'm just seeing black. Is everyone else seeing it?
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
you're on a phone, Kim?
Yeah.
That may be why.
I'm on a phone.
I see it
you're on a
fine.
phone, Ty?
Yes.
I was watching on YouTube, and shortly after going into Twitch, that was all I was hearing was those people talk. And so I finally came back to Zoom here.
That's probably because the Twitch window is active.
When did we go to Twitch?
We haven't yet, but it was a window that was open, waiting to go.
Okay, right. Thank you.
And then a little gray spinning wheel, and then it went black.
All right, now the screen sharing is going into YouTube as well. I'll make it small enough to fit. So this is screen sharing on my local network, which is convenient on your local network. But what's more convenient is doing it remotely with someone else. So you want to control their machine as if you were sitting in front of their computer. And that's done a little bit differently. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. And I'm going to go into messages, because that's where it starts setting up. And then I got to go
Now
back.
I see you. I didn't see what you were sharing, but I see you.
I'm going to stop my screen sharing app at the moment. Got to go back into OBS and change that window to messages. Messages, okay.
This is where I look stupid. What's OBS?
It's the open broadcast system that I use for broadcasting into YouTube.
Got it.
Thank you. I didn't know either, so thank you.
Yeah, you guys don't need to worry about it, but every time I switch screens, I have to tell both Zoom and OBS. I haven't figured out how to get OBS to always just show the Zoom screen, which I think it should be able to do that. It shows the people, but then when I do a screen sharing, it doesn't show the shared screen. All right, so if I want to, for example, share Shirley's computer wherever she happens to be. Carol Gack passed away. Why did I send her a StreamYard? All right, so can you? Oh, you can't see the menu, can you?
Nope.
In the menu, there's a conversations menu. Maybe I can bring it up in Safari. So screen sharing. Yes, okay. Let me switch back to that. Bring back Safari. Share screen and Safari. Which Safari window? This one. So you go into your Messages app, and there's and then you pick the person you want to share the screen with, and there is a Share Screen button in the person window and also in the Conversations menu. And when you start a conversation with someone, this has to be Mac to Mac. So this doesn't work on Windows. But for Mac to Mac, you can invite a user. There's no pictures. Apple, why are there no pictures? You can invite. You can ask a user to share your screen. There we are. So when you're in a message with someone, you can share their screen. You can do a video chat, so you can switch from a text chat to a video chat or switch to an audio chat. And so you can ask to share their screen so you can see them, or you can share your screen to them. And let me see if I can find that in a picture. In the Conversations menu. There we are. So there's an invite to share my screen so they can see your screen, or ask to share a screen. They will get a message that you want to share their screen, and they have to approve it. So they, in both cases, they have to approve you sharing the screen. So you can't just grab somebody's screen without them knowing it. And we used to do this for watch parties, where everyone would watch somebody's screen playing a movie. But then Apple added that to the Apple TV service, and YouTube actually added a watch party. So everyone can be watching the same thing remotely. And you can chat with people about the show you're watching. So this is actually useful for remote tech support. If you're have people that need remote tech support, you can use the screen sharing. This is handy because it's built into the Mac, and it doesn't cost anything extra. Most of the other remote screen sharing services have a cost to them. All the free ones have died and gone away. So that's how a lot of the newer, what used to be Windows-only programs are working, is in essence through screen sharing, so that you can play a game on your computer, and it's actually playing on the other end and sending just the screen to you. Ooh, the new Centipede. I lost so many hours playing Centipede. That's pretty good.
And you might just lose more.
Yeah. So Stadia is 30 days free and $9.99. Stadia is $9.99 a month. Or for a game, you can play for 30 minutes at a time, or you can buy the game completely and then play it anytime you want. So that was the difference between Google Stadia and Microsoft Live, Xbox. No, it's not Xbox Live. What did they call theirs? So with Google, you join the service, and then some of the games you pay for. With Microsoft, you join the service, and all the games are free included with the service. So it's and so Google is a little bit like Apple's Apple Games, their gaming system, but it's kind of a cross of both of them. So you get to play all of the games in the gaming system for free as long as they're there for the $5 a month that the Apple Game service cost. That I can't remember. Apple Arcade. I couldn't remember the name of it. So if you want something a little more than casual games that you get on your iPhone, then Apple Arcade gives you significantly higher quality games. And, well, there was an 8-bit. Was that Oregon Trail that just went by? and quite a variety of games. So for the $4 or $5 a month, you can play the entire game as much as you want, and you don't have to pay for individual games. You just pay once for the service. And if you buy a new Apple device, an iPhone or a Mac or an iPad, you get three months free, and then it's $4.99 a month. Oh, there's almost 200 games in Apple Arcade yet at the moment. Number one game is NBA 2K22, followed by Sneaky Sasquatch. So you can purchase the individual games separately in many cases, or if you want to keep them forever, or you play it through the Apple Arcade, and it lasts as long as the game lasts in there, which is usually 6 months to a year. And in that time, you've probably either played the game out or moved on to a new game. So for $5 a month, that's a nice way to do it, and you can do it on a Mac, a phone, an iPad, or on your Apple TV on your big screen. And they even make game controllers for the Apple TV that some of the games work better on. Without a new Mac, it's a 1-month trial. Buy a new, not just a Mac, any Apple device. And so there's all sorts of games. The realism that they've got in the games now is amazing when they want to be a real game. Oh, I lost my YouTube window. I hit the wrong button. There it is. So that's kind of the bottom line. The need to run Windows on your Mac is possible, and a lot of times now the need to do it is actually reducing because of the web, things moving to the web, and things moving to virtual desktops and streaming type services. Any questions on that, or have I confused everything enough? I'm going to pin me to the top of the list.
So, Steve, have you played any of these games online that way, and have you found one service to be better than another that way?
Not really. I'm not really into games much. Matthew ended up buying a PC, or building a PC. I gave him a beat-up old PC, and he started replacing all the components in it for his gaming computer to replace his gaming laptop he bought. A lot of times the best games are still coming out on console only, but we're seeing more and more games come to the streaming services. And most of them have trials, which is nice, so you can try it before you actually have to pay your money. And that kind of moves us into talking a little bit about Twitch, because Twitch started as a gaming streaming service, sort of. So far, there we are, where people would play games and stream them into Twitch so that other people could watch you play these games. And then there were other people that were commenting on the Twitch streams. So and of course there's ads now, and there's ads for everything. But some of the people inside Twitch make a crap load of money there was a guy called PewDiePie, and was it Microsoft bought him away for some ungodly amount of money, and then canceled their service, and so he got to walk away and keep the money. So here's a guy called XQC, and so he's playing the game, talking to the people watching him stream. So if you do like some of these games, it's a neat way to have a walkthrough. If you can't figure out how to do something, you can check with them. But the other thing that has started happening is people besides streamers, game streamers, have created new Twitch channels. And so here's a politics channel. He's got 30,000 people following him. Let's see. Chatting. Here's Apex Legends. So chatting about a specific game. So he's doing Apex Legends. I am going to go back to home. No. So we originally found out about this is we started streaming sound bites into Twitch. And we've gotten about a dozen people that have started watching Twitch channels, watching sound bites. And one of the interesting things that I ran into is Escape Artists. That was it under Escape Pod. I listened to a podcast called Escape Pod, which is short science fiction stories. And they opened, here we go, EA Podcasts. So Escape Pod is science fiction. They also have one for young adult fiction, one for fantasy, one for horror. And one of the things they've started doing is talking about different books.
I'm taking this helmet off before I go out there. I need to walk around the station raising suspicions of being made fun of by everyone in the person.
Find.
Fantastic. So we have 2 grand rooms dealt with, we have a couple of rooms open, and I think we're going to call it slightly early. I suspect McQueen accidentally got McScream's pockets or something. I think that's very likely. What we will do...
Sundays at 9 a.m., I think it is, they have a live chat, and then Wednesday, actually, it might be going on now. Wednesdays, the Alistair reads you a bedtime story.
So are these things that you pay to subscribe to? Or are they
Some
free,
of them
or
you
what?
pay. Some of them are free. There are ads in the stream that pay the authors, like regular advertising TV. So they're doing the Dark Side Detective now. They've been reading a chapter a week, so you can follow along with them reading the book. But maybe Alistair doesn't do his Twitch stream anymore. LIST.
Can you upload videos?
I'm sorry, can you upload videos without live streaming?
Probably.
Okay, so they're kind of like a YouTube then.
Yes, they started out to be a competitor to YouTube, and it's sort of found its niche as a game streamer. Alistair, how do you spell Alistair? A-L-I-S-T-O-R-E-R? The British spelling of Alistair.
A. Is it?
A-I-R?
Stair, S-T-A-I-R. Yeah.
Alistair.
Yeah. There you go.
Wish I could remember his last name. No. There's a gaming company called EA too. So I got to do Escape Pod. Oh, maybe that is just that one we had up there. Is him reading it. So they have an upcoming stream in, so Sundays at 4 a.m. Eastern, because he's in England, and then Wednesdays at 5 p.m. That's when their live streams are. So if we go to the most recent video,
made fun of by everyone in the prison. Fantastic. So we have 2 ground rooms dealt with. We have a couple of rooms opened. And I think we're going to call it.
No, I'm not hearing anything. Just see the.
I suspect McQueen accidentally got McScream's pockets or something. I think that's very likely. What we will do, folks, I suspect we'll wrap up.
We get the idea.
Case 4 here pretty quickly on Sunday. And depending on how things go, we should go through and get 5 and 6 as well. But it feels like this has got about 45 minutes in it. And I'm tired. Honestly, I've had about 10 hours of meetings in the last 2 days, and my voice is a little bit.
Niches kind of work themselves out eventually.
Now feels like a good time to maybe close up a little early instead of push on. This has been real tough. That means when anything gets better very much. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much, folks. I'm having a blast doing this, and I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I will be back on Sunday morning at our usual time, 10:30 to 12:30. And hopefully I will have a Marguerite with me, which will be really nice. The full load is done for the week, which feels unbelievably strange because it was done last week. So the full load will be with Hugo Award-winning Pop Culture Newsletter, which Hugo Award-winning presumptuous Hugo Award nominated, and that voting closes tomorrow. So if you can vote, please do. Our Hugo Award nominated Pop Culture Newsletter, The Full Load, goes live on Friday. It's a really good issue. We talk about the first episode of the fantastic horror series From, and another piece that's good. I think it's Wild Thing, Go Nuclear, which is a really fantastically good podcast. So that's going to be Friday morning, not Friday morning, when we talk about Friday 5 p.m. BST, then Sunday morning 10:30 to 12:30 BST.
So this one is $5.
We'll probably be finishing off Dark Side Detective. Welcome to a very tired Californian warrior.
The podcast itself is free,
we will continue on Wednesday with something
or
different.
you can be a
Or
patron.
with the last little bit of this.
Patreon.
Regardless, thank you so much for joining us, folks. I really appreciate it. This is a hard week. Not a horrifyingly hard week, like I was half worried it would be. But just a week with a lot in it. Margaret being away, that's a little bit of a worry. You know how these things go. And work's been very, very intense. Like I said, seriously, I've had like 8-9 hours of meetings in the last 2 days. I'm a little bit punchy. And I'm trying to practice a little bit of belligerent self-care, which is a roundabout way of saying I'm going to go see him tomorrow. And also, this has been a really big part of that. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I've been Alistair. Marguerite says hi. She actually just did. And this has been fun. We'll see you next time.
Podcast. They actually have a thing because Amazon owns Twitch, so that's the other thing that's happening. Big companies keep buying the little streaming services. You can support escape artists and donate $5 a month for free on Amazon. And they had a thing about that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what is it? escapepod.com/Twitch, I think it is.
So is this like you buy stuff from Amazon and a percentage goes to them, or?
No, it was just a flat $5 a month that Amazon pays Escape Pod through Twitch.
But But you have to join something so Amazon will do that?
There it is. You need to have an Amazon account and a Twitch account. Not just an Amazon account. You need an Amazon Prime account. And a lot of people have that for the discounted shipping anyway. And because Amazon has their own gaming service, Prime Gaming, and Twitch is a gaming-ish streaming service, they get $4.99 is paid through basically from your Prime subscription. It goes into Escape Artists for Twitch. So there's a lot of free games you get from Amazon Gaming that you may not know you had with Amazon Prime. So there's Prime Video, there's Prime Gaming, 1 day or 2 day shipping. In fact, they've started splitting out some of their services. So if you don't want to pay the $120 a year for Prime Everything, you can do just specific services.
Just noticed a nice note from Ty Dibble, who just left.
Yep.
Very nice note.
Yeah, Ty is a longtime CIDER member.
Yeah, we know Twitch from watching some of our women's soccer games there on Twitch. I had no idea it had all this other stuff. Wow.
Yeah, you had mentioned that earlier. Are they legitimate?
Yes.
Oh yes,
Because
definitely.
One of the things we often see is someone will point a camera at the TV so that they can stream some show that isn't supposed to be
Women's
streamed.
soccer, most of it is on Paramount Plus, but they schedule games specifically for Twitch. And one of the funky things here is I don't know if I have a Twitch account. Do I have to sign up? Does this cost anything? I didn't have answers to those questions, but I discovered that I can go to the link and I can watch those games. I don't think I have a Twitch account, but if you go to those links, you can watch the games.
You only need an account if you want to create your own video.
Bingo, or have your own
We all
channel.
got ourselves a
Or
Game 5
save a
Magic
list
Gaming
of
fashion.
Yeah, they look very strong in the first two games taken down.
Now, if you wanted to have your own
punch
channel, say give up Bob's very political, have a political show, you have to get somebody's permission, or you
that
can
assumes
just
you know whether or
you
not
just create a
the email
channel and
system you're on uses
and away you go.
Yeah.
in the background.
You have to create an
At any
account
rate,
first.
we know
so
that
you create
many
a
of you will have
free
more to
account.
say, and so, or if
and
you
then
selected
you can
other, we'd like you to
create
do
a
this.
video
Head
on
on
your
over to our
channel.
website at soundbites.org. That's
Schedule
Bites with a Y.
live
Francis
videos.
would like us to remind you again. And scroll down on the right under Fascinating Stuff. You'll see the forum. Currently,
We
at
could
least,
start streaming,
the number one
sound
item
bites
under
into
poll
our,
discussion
CIDER
is
to Twitch,
6OG22 Microsoft email users targeted
That's an added
in new
thing that
attack.
we would
And of
do.
course,
So you'd be doing
you can
3
always,
things at
or at
once.
least for the
Yeah,
next
that
call,
would be
call
OBS could do it.
585-966 Jazz.
Stream video
That's
into multiple services.
966-5299.
Yeah, I
Toll free
think
1-800-790-0415.
If you did that?
Yeah, we see.
Probably not until
Look, attacks
you
are
get
pretty prevalent everywhere.
enough subscribers.
These zero-day type attacks are
If that
huge
was not a lot of
right
extra
now
work for you,
because
it
we
might
all know
have the
Microsoft is
advantage
not
that
quick when it comes
would be
to
streaming
paying.
into
Rely on
Our target audience is
a new thing, right?
And
Target
even
on
if
the-
they know
the
about
latest
it,
thing
it's
or the
we're
least
on the list that gets
recent
there.
thing.
It could be
I don't know. We can talk
anywhere
about it next
from
week.
6 weeks to 6
So
years
you can get your
before,
people,
and we've
yeah, so
heard of this
PewDiePie made
before,
$40 million.
where they have known about this, but
The average
nobody
person
just
is
didn't
gonna
get
make-
around to it
Yeah,
for a
virtually
few
nothing.
years because
Yeah.
it wasn't that high of
You
a priority.
can
Right. And so one of the
you
things
can
that you
have your
need to do
subscribers pay you directly.
as an email user in general,
or
whether
you
you
can,
think you're on a Microsoft account or not, pay attention to what you're
By
clicking
an
on
ad
in an email.
service that inserts
just
ads
don't
into
randomly
your videos.
start clicking on things.
And
I
you
got
get
one.
a fraction.
I got one the other
of
day
a
that
fraction
said,
of a dollar.
"Thank you for your order of
Oh, man.
$159 for this or
income
whatever it was. If you think this is an error,
And
please
lose
click here."
followers, so
Yeah.
there's a get.
We
And
had
I thought, why don't I just go to my bank and see if somebody actually got
Now, with
$159
YouTube,
from me?
you need to have 1,000
No, they
subscribers
had not. Yeah.
before you
So
can
this
start
was
monetizing,
utterly bogus. And I know if I clicked on the link, it would
your
start
videos.
leading me to. It might automatically download a problem.
Because there's things in the background that could happen
Right.
that would trigger it, what they
And
call
when you get a million subscribers, you get a
no click spots.
Right.
plaque.
And so, then they start
Is
asking
that
you
all
for
you
your
get?
credit card
Subscribers, you get a
information,
plan.
sign into your bank here, and
Yeah,
do
most
this,
of
and
the
it's all
time,
going through their site. And
people
seriously,
donate directly to
be
you.
very,
You
very diligent.
Get a
We had a
brand
nice,
to sponsor you.
sweet
You
little
sell
old lady
merchandising.
bring her
You
computer
have
in this week where she
You
got
have
one of those,
links,
got an email.
yeah.
And she hadn't placed an order, so being the conscientious, sweet little
you
lady
must
she
have
was, she
75
called the phone number and
concurrent
said, "I didn't place the order."
viewers
And
for
said,
over
"Oh,
30
okay,
days.
give us your bank account number and
In
we'll
order
refund
to
the money
get
to you."
No,
money
she
from,
didn't.
from
And
just having
they
a
were
video.
insistent.
So you have to have
and
people
eventually they
actually
wore her down,
watching
and she
for
did.
so many days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So because we're all
What are
we all grew up trained to be nice and
It's
polite.
nice to be nice.
People watching your show. And
Now you
75
have to
people
be
watching your
suspicious
They
of
show
take
at the
everybody.
same time
full advantage of
for
that.
30
Yep.
days.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So
That's
for each
their whole
episode or
goal
whatever
is
you want to
to
call it,
scam
you
you
need
out
like
of
75 people
any of
watching
your money,
every one of those
information,
for
or
30
whatever
days.
they can do.
Right.
That's what they live for, because that's how they make all their money, is stealing your information and money.
And then the hassle of changing your bank
We've been
account
talking about
information.
some virtual
Actually, well, the
stuff
bad guys are
tonight.
getting a little
Frankly,
smarter. They've
I
started asking for
lost my brain an hour and a half ago or
checking
something.
account numbers and routing numbers.
It's brought up the intriguing question of what the difference is between virtually nothing and actually nothing. Probably.
My brain's too tired to even think about that, Charlie.
Well, I'm trying to take notes for the minutes to give an idea of some of the topics presented, but I just kind of marked the time.
Sexual nothing versus sexual.
Yep.
I think
Is that Carol?
the answer is nothing.
Yes, good one, Rick. I agree.
What's if the nothing? What's the question? This is a Jeopardy thing.
Yeah, what's the difference between virtually nothing and actually nothing?
Nothing. The answer is nothing. Okay, very good.
Well,
I know
actually
virtually nothing about the answer.
Right. Actually nothing is more accurate than virtually nothing.
Actually, nothing is nothing. Virtually nothing is next to nothing. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I'm going to have to review the video of this meeting tonight because, man, I got lost in the dust back there somewhere.
Yeah, if you don't have a need to do something right now, most of us don't need to run Windows.
No, it's fascinating stuff you're talking about, but it actually involves some basic concepts that I have never grasped as an emulator versus a virtual machine and so on. And don't waste time trying to explain them to me right now because my brain is like a puddle.
It's a distinction with virtually no difference to the end user.
Next to no difference. Virtual nothing.
Yeah.
Virtual.
Because there is some difference, so it's not actually no difference.
Right.
It's virtually no difference.
Right.
Well, that was very interesting. I've expanded my knowledge of Twitch. No,
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Steve. That was.
Was it virtually
Magic up by
interesting or
3.
actually?
It's actually interesting.
Last time down. Would you follow me, Cole?
Bob, maybe you want to watch his for a while. Say what society needs. So you can tip him. Or you can subscribe to him.
Ivan?
Politics time. Just chatting. Wow, Bob, he's got 2.1 million followers.
That's interesting.
That is impressive.
We're all armed.
For Washington, we the people are coming. We won't back down. We will stand our ground. We are march to the ground. We won't back down. We won't back down. We will stand our ground.
They aren't working anymore, so it's impossible.
Way back in history, this city was run by you and me. Counting the taxes and kicking British ass is the way this country is to be.
Oh my God! What are the fucking sound effects on this?
His hair is just longer.
This country used to be run by you and me when we were kicking British asses and we weren't
where he is.
paying taxes.
Let's see. We can go into his account.
He's Turkish.
Music. Rage Against the Vending Machine.
Doesn't have
Turkish American streamer on Twitch, left wing.
Yeah, it is a little bit like Rage Against the Vaccine. It is a little bit like
as a broadcast journalist and producer of the Young Turks. I watched that a lot.
Got some budget Linkin Park in it too. It's got some Linkin Park vibes to it.
And a columnist
Rage Against my ex-wife. That bitch.
One of the most viewed and most subscribed to streamers on Twitch.
Brenda.
It covers news, a variety of video games, and discusses politics from a socialist perspective.
Machine.
My man.
Wow. Oh, he's just a kid born in.
You remember a lot like that when he's over here laughing at you, chat.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.
The CPAP machine is so good.
Rutgers University.
Putting his hands up, going,
"Oh no!" That's what I think about the bitch wife.
He's doing that.
My bitch ex-wife.
And he's the uncle to this guy
who took my life.
Oh, okay.
And he's a regular.
We're not making it out the trailer park. Lincoln trailer park.
Video stream comes through on Facebook all the time. Thank God I haven't missed you on my This guy's definitely
the singing part is
wheelhouse.
Title track, Burning Down Divorce Court.
He's switching back and forth his parties.
Oh man. I love this. This was so good.
Wow.
I think that's it. That's the end of the fucking Chud Talk.
And he hasn't gone back.
Yeah.
I really hope these people were not reported, by the way. I don't know why guys like this are going out and like, reporting these people because they're just making such great content for me.
What?
Especially this one. I mean, this was such a powerful thread.
He won a Steamy.
I do hope that they keep putting out powerful threads like this.
Dreamy.
Because none of us.
Steamy would be
none of us.
Steamy sounds good. Wait a minute.
Power Hour. So congratulations to Shell C's living in Blue, Texas. Thank you so much for finding these great patriots. I'm going to leave you off on that note that powerful Power Hour of Hogs.
So there's shorties,
3-minute ad break
webbies,
here, okay?
Streamies.
What's a shorty? Oh, must be like a like a short story, short show or something.
Yeah, the best in social media. Sponsored by DirecTV. Yeah, so that's a way to get.
Need some roller therapy?
Need a minute?
Yeah.
Need your wallet? Need a push?
Wow.
Happens all the time.
If you need it, we have it. QT. More than a
Rand
gas
Paul,
station.
the politician, he credits himself as a certified doctor.
30 grams of protein.
He's an eye doctor.
Power so good.
His certification is one he created himself. He stole it upon himself.
Rockin'
So
good.
he's certified.
Spectrum presents useful tips for your useless dish.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
made you a pottery wheel out of our old satellite.
he's an actual
Let me
doctor,
show
but
you
his
how to work
certification
it.
is self-imposed.
Oh, that reminds me. There was it Computer Chronicles? What was that really old computer show? On PBS?
You need sound bites?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Computer Chronicles was on PBS.
Oh,
they were rebroadcasting it on Twitch for a while.
That was almost on for 20 years. Wow.
Yeah. Episodes of... Oh, it's on the Internet Archive now.
428 episodes.
Wow. But I wonder how relevant the information would be because it's so old and things change so fast.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Kildall special. So he's the guy that turned down Bill Gates or turned down IBM to write an operating system. So IBM went north to Bill Gates, this college dropout, and bought an OS from a guy. Claimed he only had one customer for it, so only paid him $50,000. Didn't tell him that one customer was IBM.
Wow.
I might have to watch that. So you can download it or you can stream it.
This was
There were, was it, maybe it was Bob Ross.
Painter.
There were several, yeah, Bob Ross is on Twitch. So they're rebroadcasting all of Bob Ross.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah.
I'm Bob Ross. Hello,
That
I'm Bob
looks
Ross.
familiar.
Certainly glad you could join me today. It's a fantastic
But
day.
there was a
here.
really
Happy this
interesting
weather you're
episode
in.
of
You ready to do a
Mike
fantastic
Rose,
little painting?
the way
If this
I
is your
heard
first time with us,
Bob
let me
Ross
extend a
was an Army
personal
drill
invitation for you to drag out your
And
paints and paint along
he
with
made
us
his
each
living
week.
screaming at
We'll use a
the
few big
troops.
brushes and a dozen colors or so,
man.
and I'll show
And
you
he
how to
turned
create
into
some of the
this,
most fantastic
mild
paintings you've
mannered,
ever seen in just a few minutes.
soft
So I tell you what,
spoken
let's go on up to the canvas here and get started.
Yeah. He and Mr. Rogers are roommates now.
Yeah. How long has Twitch been around?
2005. Inside.
Oh, over 10 years.
June of 2011.
2011.
Okay.
So when did Amazon buy them? Oh, that's right. I remember it used to be Justin TV. So Justin was this guy who hung a video camera around his neck and had a backpack with cellular streaming stuff and called it life casting in 2007.
Huh.
And so life casting became Twitch.
Wow.
And then, so when did, so 2015, 100 million viewers. YouTube gaming shut down. Yeah, when did Amazon? So Amazon bought them in 2014. Justine was part of them way back then. Justine Iriziak. She's a big YouTuber now, and Final Cut video editor. Oh, did she's got married? No. Well, she's got people. So a lot of people claim that Justine's success is just because she's cute, but she's really damn smart and knows Final Cut. She did a really big Final Cut shootout with someone else on Premiere, and they had the same raw video and made their own 5-minute version of all this raw video, and then they had judges look at it, and while they were watching each other's video, each of them was, oh, I wish I'd have done it that, or oh, I wish I'd have done that, and so it didn't really work as a shootout. Because if you're better at Final Cut, then you like Final Cut better. If you're better at Premiere, you like that better. And not a whole lot is going to make you switch.
Part of that's because the learning curves are so steep.
Yeah. Is it better? Yeah, so there's pros and cons each. One of the Final Cut's best qualities is it's $300 once. You could have bought Final Cut 10 years ago for $300, and you'd still be getting updates 10 years later and not have to pay anything more.
You could have bought it 20 years ago for $1,000.
Yeah. When they went to the App Store model, they changed the bundle. It was 25 grand for a while, because you got Final Cut, you got motion, you got motion graphics, you got compositing, you got all sorts of stuff. Yeah, they bought it from Macromedia, so it came out in 98. Where's the timeline? History. Is it going to give me a chart? No, it's not. They had a big thing for a while where they were bringing famous directors. Walter Murch was one of the big ones. Convincing these directors to use Final Cut instead of an Avid workstation. So instead of $1 million for an Avid workstation, you could build a Final Cut workstation for a couple $100,000. In fact, one of the things he talked about, Walter Murch, there was a documentary about this documentary. He was able to buy 4 Final Cut workstations for less than, I think it was $200,000, to compete against his Avid setup, which was over $1 million, and he could get so much more work done between the cutting and the compositing and all the different editing options.
Walter Murch was at the Dryden.
Yeah, probably a couple of times.
A long time ago, probably 15 years ago now.
Introducing his the films he's done. He's done so many films. And so many classic films, so many important films.
They sold out of his books when he was there. I didn't even get one.
I wonder if there's a count of how many he's done. No, I want director or editor. It's not this one, is it? No, that's not him. Yeah, 26 credits. Oh well, I won't find him when I want to. There was a shoot, what's his name? There's an Asian actor that just broke 600 films. James Hong, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we saw a great story on him not too long ago.
93 or something like that.
Yeah. 93, and he's still looking, in movies. I mean, it's just incredible. And his mind during this interview was so sharp. I thought, oh, I could only be so lucky to be that sharp at that age.
Yep.
Or even live that long. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he just got to start.
I think he's 454 acting credits. I think he has the most credits of any actor. I read something interesting about those Hollywood stars on the Walk of Fame. Somebody has to pay for them. Usually, it's the fan club of the actor that they try to get donations. So that explains why some people don't have stars. Is that they don't want their fans spending money.
I never knew that. I just assumed that Hollywood did it out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah.
And there's like some nonprofit organization or something that did it.
Yeah.
How much should they have to pay?
I think I remember them saying about 25,000.
So then, is there an organization that says we want you in, and then that's, or does someone come to them and say, "Hey, I'm going to buy one"? Because a lot of times there are people I've never even heard of. I'm like, how are they on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, because they have enough people that wanted to get them on the star.
Oh, him! Oh, I know him.
Let's see.
Well, folks, I think I'm going to sign off
Chamber of
because I'm
Commerce
fading.
picks.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
$55,000 is what it costs to get a star.
Oh my God! As of 2022.
So that's for the star and maintenance. I don't know how long the maintenance is for.
If I have $55,000, can I buy myself a star?
You probably could. You need some sort of Hollywood-ish credit. Acting, writing, directing. Oh,
there's the
Bing,
irony. I have one credit, and it's for set design. It's for on IMDb. A local short film, but he got it like submitted and put on IMDb. So all my other like acting and whatever credits, nothing. But the only one thing I'm on IMDb for is for like set design.
My goodness.
Gene Autry is the only person with 5 stars.
Wow.
5 different categories.
5 categories.
If you have 4, 3, some have 2. So what are the 5 categories now?
Well, singing is 1. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Let's see. Actors.
Categorization up there towards the top.
Where was it indexed? Yeah. A classic film, television, phonograph records, radio, and comedy masks for the different motion pictures, TV, audio, broadcast, and theater.
Wow. Very interesting. Well, it's approaching 10 o'clock, so I'm going to sign off. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Steve. That was very interesting.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Skip? Yeah, Skip is still here.
Good night.
Bob's
Good
here.
night.
Carol's here. Skip said he was interested in coming to the Saturday meeting, Carol. So he was going to email Bob.
Yeah,
get the link.
he's on the list already.
Okay.
So when I send out the invite, both him and Ty is also on the list. So.
Good night, all.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.
For the board members, next week, I will not be at the meeting.
Aw.
But I may
virtually.
I may show up late if I do show up late. We have the kids, my wife's kids, their birthdays are all within 4 days of each other. So in August, we always have birthday week. This year
How
is...
did you hold them in for a whole day?
I don't know. Joyce, how did you?
Yeah.
So this is the first time we've gotten together in like 5 or 6 years, because, you know, one's been in Thailand, one's in Florida. And so we have about, 30 people coming over Wednesday for a little party.
Mazel tov.
And thank you. And so it's
My birthday's Sunday. Can I come?
absolutely.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
So, we have this, birthday week, and then also on Thursday we have the memorial, honoring the kid's father who died last March. So, just a busy time next week. So if I don't show up, I just, want to let you guys know. So Charlie, you don't have to call me.
Okay. All right.
Dave Enright, that does sound bites with me, he's got a younger sister that's born exactly on his birthday.
Oh. And my grandchild, my granddaughter, was born April 8th, which is my sister's birthday.
And that's my birthday.
Oh, April 8th. All right.
Oh.
like Aries.
Yeah.
Aries
So
and
I
Leo.
just wanted to let you guys know, and but if I can, I will show up. I know you guys go late, so maybe by 8:30 I can maybe show up.
Or we'll be just starting by then.
We'll see you at 10:22.
So either I may or may not. So
Okay, we'll have fun if we don't see you.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It'd be great to see everybody in one place. The first time we've had all the grandkids all together at one time, and so it'd be fun.
Alrighty.
So I'm going to say goodnight to everybody and have a great week. And Steve, I may even see you tomorrow because I have to pick up. Hopefully, I had to get another cord for.
It didn't come in today.
Yeah.
So actually, I can probably see if it shipped if I log into Apple system.
I'm going to say goodnight, folks. See you next week.
Okay.
Good night.
I will see.
out.
Take care.
Night, Carol. Night, Steve. Night, all.
Good night, all. Let's see here.
So let's.
Now, someone who has like a 13 Pro Max or whatever, we took it out of the case so I could see it, and it's not at all like slippery and glassy like the SE is. The SE is slippery and glassy, but the new ones, the 13's Pro Max anyway, is not. So it's just the SE that is really incredibly slippery and annoying and falls off anytime you set it down, even on a flat surface.
Well, there's a tracking number assigned, so that's good. It's coming from Sparks, Nevada.
Ooh.
Interesting. So it's in transit. We should see it tomorrow.
Okay, man. So
Yep.
maybe
We'll let you know.
Maybe I'll be there. It's amazing how these cords just go bad.
Well, and they keep having the thicker rubber bit go farther and farther out, but then it just frays where the thick bit and the thin bit attach. If they make the whole cable thick. Actually, what I really like is the cloth braided cable. If I can get this on camera, the cloth braided cables they've started using. They're flexible enough, but they tend to last a lot longer. I've used a couple other cloth braided cables for my iPad charger. And Jackie yells at me for not using an Apple brand. Well, the Apple keeps breaking. A lot of people don't remember that they have a 1-year warranty on the cable, or 3 years if you got Apple Care with it.
Yeah. So the question I had for Tyler, and I'll have to find out maybe tomorrow, the warranty on that iPad Pro is up today.
Yes. Go into settings.
Yeah. And I went in today to settings and about and the Apple Care.
Yep.
And it just said, it expired today, and I was just wondering if it will allow me to get the yearly.
You have to do it before it expires.
Yeah, but how do you do that, though?
So it says expired now, past tense?
Well, I have 2 hours.
Yeah, if it hasn't already expired, you should be able to tap on it and renew.
Tap on what?
Where it says coverage and gives you your coverage date.
Hang on. So let me just go into my phone and see if it works there. Settings.
Yeah, here's a tech note from Apple. You can also do it on a website. No, I don't want to do a direct message. I want to do everyone.
So so when I get to the coverage part, I tap on what?
Let's see.
I don't have I have to go upstairs and get it, but
tap on the name of your AppleCare plan. Oh no, that's a Mac. Yeah, tap on the name of your AppleCare plan, and there should be a button that comes up then and says renew. Or you can go to mysupport.apple.com and renew it there. I posted a link in the Zoom chat.
okay. Let me see. Chat.
Because I'm interested to do it on the club's computer too at the end of the AppleCare. So for iOS devices, it's a monthly renewal, and on a Mac, it's annual.
Right. Okay, so I have 30 days after the original coverage ends.
Well, that's good to know. So you don't have to do it by that exact date.
Right. The new cover armory renews until canceled. But it doesn't say until canceled. It doesn't say how long it will actually. It says until canceled.
Monthly, every month until you cancel it.
Yeah. So if I have it for 20 years.
Technically, yes. But we're guessing that when the device goes obsolete, which
right.
is 8 years after last sale, they'll probably stop AppleCare.
Right.
We don't know exactly when yet.
Okay.
Although they could continue it, but after 8 years, you're going to want a new phone anyway.
Right. Yeah. But the Macs can go on forever. Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Steve.
Yep, sounds good.
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take it easy.
Have a good night. Yeah. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Mm.